In this video, I'm going to talk about the Ableton Move after making 128 beats on it. A couple of weeks ago, I made a bunch of videos on the Ableton Move when I just got it and started making music on it, and also how I use the Move in combination with Ableton Live. Now that more time has passed and I have used it more, I actually just completed the 128 beats or sketches that I made on this thing. So I thought it was time to make another video and let you know what I like about it, how I use it in combination with Live. Of course, also play you some beats that I made on this thing. So all the beats that you hear, all the music that you hear in this video are straight from the Ableton Move. So I didn't do anything to it in Live. So let's start with what I like about this device. So what I like about it is the form factor and the portability. It's kind of obvious for a portable device, but I think they did a really good job in just having the right size and weight and sturdiness of this device. Another good thing that I like about this is the loading up of sounds when you start up the device. So as you might know, when you start up the device, you have 4 tracks. That's all the tracks you have. And each track is populated with a drum kit, a bass, and 2 synthesizer sounds. So you don't have to start browsing for sounds or start with sound design. You can just dive in and start playing something right away. And actually, more often than not, I end up using the sounds that are loaded up by default. Continuing with things that I like is the pads for writing melodies. You can put it in key and almost without looking, you can just fiddle around and come up with a melody, which is quite different from using Live. And in general, the limitations of the 4 tracks. I will get back to that, why that limitation is not really a limitation for this device, the way I use it. So far the things I like about this device. Let's go continue on how I use it. The way I use it, and that's also kind of, it explains like why I made 128 beats on this thing or sketches, is that I really use it as a sketchbook, like really quick and dirty. Basically start with the sounds that are loaded up and just start making some kind of drum pattern. Often the order I do is drums, bass, and then some kind of melody. Sometimes I also switch that up, of course. But I really use it as a sketchbook, and maybe I create a variation. So I create maybe 2 loops, but I don't necessarily develop it much further in the Move. And then often I just start a new project and make something else. The way I use it is as a sketchbook, as a starting point, and then I use the Move Manager, download the session and open it in Live. And that's where I really do the arrangement and create more variation, add automation lines. And because of the visual overview you have in Live, it's much easier to get a full arrangement with multiple parts and multiple variations down once you have that initial idea that you develop on the Ableton Move. This is kind of how I use it with Live. This is really, the Move is really for the initial idea. It's very informal. You can just put something down and then do all the complex sound design and precise sample manipulation and arrangement in Live. One of the things that I have in Live sometimes when I start in Live, I can really get too detailed in the sound design and kind of lose track of the song idea. With the Ableton Move, I tend to make more melodic beats and focus more on melody and chords and just a basic idea rather than getting bogged down in sound design. Another thing that how I use this is I use the internal instruments, of course, that come on the Move and the drum kits. I loaded up a whole bunch of my own sample packs that you can find on Gumroad, so go check that out. It's linked in the description. So those sounds are in here. And then the other thing I like to do is just use the line in, so not the USB-C, but just the line in, hook it up to my laptop and just sample from my laptop into the Ableton Move. And I mostly sample one shot, so there is not a slice mode on Ableton Move. I've used it, but it's not kind of the way I work with samples. So usually what I do is I sample a one shot, like a drum sound, or a one note, like a bass note or a piano note, and then play that one note melodically. If you have seen some of my videos, you know that I like to make my own sampled instruments in Ableton Live. And often when I make those instruments, I do a lot of sound design to it. Here I do that less, so I just find one good note from some kind of old record where they start with like one open bass note. I just take that one bass note and then I have my own bass instrument in the Move. Maybe I do a little bit of effects, of course, parameter tweaking like the envelope and stuff like that. But for the rest, I just leave it like that. And I can always later add more effects to it in live or more complex kind of sound design. But I think sampling through the line in from, for instance, your laptop or your phone is very easy. And I just sample from Spotify or from YouTube or any kind of source, really. And it's a very quick way just to get some samples in, because I like to combine samples and synthesis, both in the Move, but also, of course, in Ableton Live. So yeah, that's kind of how I use the Ableton Move. I don't use it as a standalone device to make entire tracks or beats on and that are kind of finished. I really use it as a starting point, as a sketchbook. You don't have to, you can be anywhere because it's portable. The 4-hour battery life is kind of okay. I mean, it's very addictive, so you easily spend a lot of time on this device and then the battery, of course, drains. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. But I really use it in combination with Ableton Live. I'll play you some more beats after this. Let me know in the comments if you have used the Move, and I'm especially interested to hear how you use the Move in combination with other software or with Ableton Live or other hardware, and what is your opinion about using it as a sketchbook like the way I described in this video. Just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, keep making music, and see you in the next one.